Hi, everyone. It is Kristen with the Williams team in Austin, and I am answering the question I get very regularly. I think all of the agents on our team hear this so routinely that I figured let me turn this conversation into our Friday update. Is the sky falling? Are home prices crashing? Is the market declining? And those are media headlines that have been in the media more recently than in the past, which it's just I'm a little bit skeptical of media headlines anyways, because I know that media headlines are there to create fear and, doubt and whatnot. But if you really look at the meat of the data, and so that's what I like to do is like step back, look at the data and what they're reporting. One of the headlines, or one of the articles reported that home prices fell 21% in 2022, which is actually true. But it's just that headline was recent. And so we're in 2024. So we did see home prices decline. We saw that already happen. It's not happening. And so that's the one thing that I want to make sure that I am accurately just conveying what's happening in the real estate market from a very neutral data driven perspective. So each week we track all of the market reports and all the market stats, and we continue to track them and put them into these nice little graphs. So that's why I'm sharing my screen right here so that you can see my graph. So you'll see that in 2022, and I'm going to use April as a point because that's where all of our data up to 2024 is current up until April. And then also coincidentally, April of 2022 is when we were at the peak of our market. So you'll see if you look at the 2022 or 2020 blue graph, that was our COVID year. That was the year when everything kind of went crazy. So from the average sales price in April of 2020 at right around 400,000, and then you look at the red or the yellow, no, the red line. And then you look at the red line and you see we had quite a big jump. So we went from like 400 and 4,000 up to like 575 in that 1 year period. We had such rapid appreciation. And then you'll see the yellow line, which is 2022. We had another year of rapid appreciation. So you had 2 years of really significant rapid appreciation. We had a lot of demand in the market. We had a lot of people moving here. We had a very limited supply during the COVID years, those 2 years. Very few sellers wanted to sell their home. They didn't want to put their house on the market. They didn't want people walking through the home. Yet people were moving to Austin and they were moving to Texas. So we just had low inventory levels and a high demand, and that just really created a huge price increase. And then in April of 2022, when the government decided that inflation was rampant and out of control, they're going to raise interest rates. So that interest rate hike, you see that happened in April of 2022. And I vividly remember all of this happening. That's when we saw prices start to decline because interest rates went up significantly. And from that significant increase, buyers just paused, stopped, got out of the market, decided not to buy a home. And so you had sellers that were getting more comfortable selling their home and putting their house on the market about 2 years post COVID. But then you had all this inventory and you didn't have buyers in the market because they were fearful of the interest rate increase, right? So then you saw a pretty, sizable decline from 2022 that went all the way into 2023. And it's now starting to recover in 2024. So if you just look at these graphs, and 2024 is that little orange line, it's a little bit hard to see because it's almost in line with 2023. So, but it's just slightly above. So what we are seeing is that our average home prices are slightly above where they were last year. So 2023 was what looks to be like our low point in average home prices, and we're already starting to increase from there. Now, I'm not seeing sizable gains and sizable increases in our home values because we're still recovering, yet I'm not seeing that I do not believe that we are going to go into a crash. Home prices have really stabilized. Interest rates have stabilized in the mid or so 6% range, and there's talk of them coming down at some point later this year. It could maybe be next year that interest rates come down, but as soon as interest rates come down, that's going to put more demand in the market, because the more buyers are going to be willing to hop into the market, because interest rates are going to be affordable, which means home prices, or which means that your mortgage payment will be lower with a lower interest rate. So more people are going to enter the market. And that's probably what will eventually help to increase our values at some point down the line, whether that's next year or the year after. Yet I just want to take this kind of data-driven approach to just look at the data, look at the specifics, and then anytime you read an article, like, look at the dates that they're quoting, because that one article quoted a date from 2022, which was not a wrong statistic, but it's also 2 years behind. Yet the headline was creating a little bit of fear in any of the consumers who are reading that. And if you just read those headlines, of course, you're going to think, oh gosh, the market's crashing. So anyhow, that is my perspective. I always have believed that real estate is a great investment. Personally have benefited, myself and our family has benefited from having investment property and investing in real estate. I've helped over 1,000 clients at this point in my almost 18-year career do the same. And so real estate always appreciates over a period of time. There are times when it doesn't. And that's a time where you just don't want to have to be in a position to have to sell your home. But it's also a really great opportunity to take advantage of the market when home prices are lower, because there's a lot of opportunity right now for buyers. There's a lot of inventory out there. So there's a lot of positives and a lot of opportunity there in the market right now. So feel free, reach out. Our team is really skilled. We're smart, caring agents. I'm happy to strategize with you about what your real estate goals are, and have a wonderful weekend ahead.